What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 19 of X and O's with Evan and Bros. I'm your most gracious host, Evan. Joining me through Zoom, Grant's not a Laker fan, he's a LeBron fan, but EJ, Laker fan. So you combine them together, they're the most, insufferable people on the planet. Especially after the ass whooping they've been handing Portland over the last 3 games. First up, EJ, Money Man Mitchem, welcome. Rocking the Lakers jersey, of course you are.
Hell yeah. Go Lake Show.
Lakers
Show. 5. They finally exert their dominance. That's what happens. One team in the
Lakers
league.
up 3, and then they'll win in 5, most likely.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 20-point victory again. So
great. And also, welcome through Zoom, Mr. Grant Plunket.
Go man.
Give you all a hand.
Actually.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. There we go. We've been off for a few days. I had a little vacay I got to go to. Took a lot of vitamins, and it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend, much needed. But before we get started, let's turn this intro on so we can get started with our topics. So we got a fun day. There was an action-packed weekend, y'all. Let's get started.
X's and O's with Evan and Bros. Yeah.
Okay, it's X's and O's with Evan and Bros. Of course, it's a talk show, man, talking about sports. The one and only Evan Miller, yeah, that's your host, doing analyzing with the side of jokes. Hey, X's and O's with Evan and Bros. X's and O's with Evan and Bros. X's and O's with Evan and Bros. Hey, analyzing with the side of jokes.
All right, so for the first 30 minutes of today's show, I want to talk about we'll talk about NBA last because I know that's what we want to talk about. But guys, college football is right around the corner. Okay? And I'll give you this chance. Go ahead, pull up the AP top 25. The AP poll rankings, preseason poll rankings were just released. I think either yesterday or Sunday. And so they're out. We are going to go over 25 all the way up to number 1. And we don't have to stay long on each team, but let's discuss if we think they belong in the top 25. Do they belong in the top 10? Do they belong? I mean, how do you really do this poll, with no Pac-12, no Big
half
10?
The team's gone.
Yeah. So, I mean, and again, I could assume maybe 4 teams, at least in the Big 10, were going to be on this list. 2 of them, maybe, top 10. And then you can look at Pac-12, 3 teams. Again, maybe 4 teams in the top 25, but probably only 1 or 2. Oregon probably in the top 10, you can assume. So let's go over. We'll start with number 25 and we'll work our way up, okay? All right. SEC school, Tennessee Volunteers. Right at 25. I think that's a good spot. Considering the other teams that can't play, considering the other teams that are that technically again have foregone the fall season. I think that's a fair spot for the Tennessee Volunteers. It gives them room to they could possibly suck, which I mean they probably will, or they have a chance to be really good in the East, maybe finish 3rd. There's a chance. So what do y'all think about position number 25 for the Tennessee Volunteers?
Yeah, I like what they're building.
Yeah.
And I guess with 2 conferences gone, I guess they might. No, they're not a top 25 team.
No, they're not usually. Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably going to feel weird all year with them in there. There's probably like some weird team in the top 10, like Cincinnati or something. Wait, are they playing football?
Well, these actually are including the Pac-12 and Big Ten teams.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. The ones I was looking at, I saw Ohio State at number 2. I was like, dang it, I can't find one without the teams that are playing.
So
okay.
So this AP poll doesn't really make any sense to me. I'm not going to lie, because if these teams aren't going to play, what's the point of having them in the top 25?
Yeah. That's weird.
That makes zero sense to me. Now, I guess technically, Ohio State has talked about trying to figure out a way to play. I don't know how those discussions have gone, but all right. So again, so this does include This does include Big Ten, Pac-12. Could possibly include MAC or Mountain West. Who knows? But Tennessee Volunteers. So I'm going to correct my statement. Say this is too high for the Tennessee Volunteers to be placed in the top 25. I would go around 30. 30 would have been my EJ.
Yeah, maybe.
EJ, what do you think?
Yeah. I'm looking at Tennessee schedule right now. The Tennessee I know the last couple of years haven't been the hottest team out there, but they're an SEC school, and SEC school gets a bunch of respect. So
they do.
That's why they're top 25, and they're probably going to be still in the top 25 if there is a college football season this year. But they got to play at Georgia. They're home against Alabama in one of these games. At Auburn. Home against Florida. I'm looking at Tennessee probably
like 4 losses at least, right?
4, maybe 5 losses. So I don't know how the top 25 is. I don't know how they're going to do that poll every week, but
all right. How about
it's a good start.
Evan, is Memphis in your top 25 on there?
Memphis. No, Memphis is not.
See, that's kind of crazy. I think Memphis has been the best team in Tennessee for like a few years now. And that's not disrespectful. Memphis has actually been kind of good.
Well, if they give the nod to the UCF Knights, I'm actually kind of surprised that Memphis isn't considered, and I would put obviously I'll put Memphis in 22, 23, actually, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Not
Memphis is 26 right now.
There you go. They're at 26. They're right outside the top 25. So
okay, all right.
They have room.
I guess that makes sense.
Listen, Tennessee's probably going to lose week 1, and then they're going to slide right in that top 25. So there you go.
You're going to lose Georgia State again.
All right. So for each one of these teams, all right, I'm going to ask both of y'all. Does Tennessee finish, the Volunteers, do they finish in the top 25 by the last week? EJ.
No, they keep all these teams in here.
Okay.
They keep like the Big Ten.
That's true. That's a good point. Grant, did they finish in the top 25? Let's say hypothetically speaking,
are they keeping the Big Ten and teams in there?
Let's just assume they keep the Big Ten.
No.
Okay. Moving on. Speaking of Big Ten school, Iowa Hawkeyes. I don't know why they're on this list. They're not playing in the fall, so we'll see what happens there. But let's just go off what we know about the Iowa Hawkeyes. Do we think that they deserve to be in the top 25? I do. And I think 24 is a nice spot, those late 20s, because we know how those Hawkeyes roll around October, November. They always sneak a top 10 win out. So we'll see what happens there, whether it's Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. They always seem to knock one of those giants off. Actually, I don't consider Michigan a giant. Never mind. I retract my statement. They're below average for sure. But I think 24 is a nice spot for the Hawkeyes. Could have been, anywhere in the mid-20s, whether 21, 22, 23, 24. EJ, we'll go to you first. Hawkeyes, good spot?
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised when we talk about 23 that this 23 team is above them. But yeah, I agree. Iowa always plays some good football. So I agree that they should be in top 25.
Grant? 24 is a good spot.
24 seems like a good spot for Iowa. They'll probably move up. They're always solid.
Yeah.
But isn't this Nate Stanley graduated, I think. So this is like their first year with a new quarterback in like 80 years.
Yeah. So well, and Iowa had some off the field issues over the offseason.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they doing in Iowa?
They didn't. There were some racial things that really wasn't reported, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Obviously, considering the climate, it was kind of pushed under the rug. Not pushed under the rug, but it's just nobody really talked about it. Maybe because it is the Hawkeyes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some like apparently in EJ, you know what I'm talking about, right? There was some like racial discrimination in the locker room regarding players, right?
Yeah.
And so like if you were African American, you were kind of treated lesser than, obviously white players, which is, yeah. So that was the kind of the report that was being circulated around. But again, it kind of disappeared. Nothing really came of it. Nobody seemed punished as far as I know. But, all right, will Iowa finish top 25, EJ? Well, okay. We're assuming Big Ten. We'll just take, we're assuming whatever.
Yeah. They were playing, yes.
Yeah. Grant?
I guess. I say we skip the teams that aren't playing.
You want to skip Pac-12 and Big Ten?
Yeah, I mean, we can't really even say anything about them.
We're not skipping USC.
Fine, we can talk about USC. You can talk about USC.
All right. Moving on to number 23, the Iowa State Cyclones. Big 12 team, right? Yeah. I assume I would have put the Hawkeyes. I think EJ was kind of saying this. I would have put the Hawkeyes over the Cyclones, which is kind of surprising. Good for the Cyclones to be in there. They kind of always play teams tough, but they will get an upset here, but they don't really sustain, that winning. They'll win that big game, then lose to, they play up and they play down, if that makes sense. So, considering the Big 12 is playing football, I could see them possibly staying in the top 25. But if this was a regular year, no, I would say they would be out. Grant, Cyclones.
Yeah, I guess they're probably returning a lot of players because normally they wouldn't open up the season in the top 25.
No.
But I don't know. I feel like Iowa State's one of those teams where they're average for like 3 or 4 years and they pop off and have like a year where they contend for like the Big 12 title and then they go back.
Then they go back to mediocrity.
So maybe this is their year. Maybe they're returning a bunch of talent. I don't know.
Yeah. EJ.
Yeah, same. When I think Iowa State, I think basketball. I don't think of football. But like I said, I thought Iowa is a better team, but Iowa did lose their quarterback, so maybe that would put Iowa State with returning players better than them, is what the people think. So.
Real quick, y'all remember when Iowa State had that quarterback that was also playing linebacker for him?
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember
this
that.
is like a few years ago, maybe when we were in senior year of high school, something like that. It was wild. They ran like a 2-quarterback system, right? And one of the quarterbacks that they used, he also came in and played linebacker for him. It was
a legend.
It was insane. All right, moving on. The Utah Utes. I feel like all these are like Midwest teams. So Pac-12, Utah. If we want to stay on this, we can. But I love Utah. This is always a fun team to me. I think they're nasty. I think they have some swagger. But I mean, most likely since they're not playing football this year, they won't be in the top 25. So I'm just going to move on from that. EJ, want to move on or keep it going or stay?
Well, I mean, I just want to say Utah is one of the nastiest defenses I ever seen. They're very physical. I mean, I firsthand watched USC and Utah battle to the last minute, and it all comes to last-second field goals or something. Yeah, move on. I don't want to talk about Utah.
I'll say something about Utah.
Say something about Utah.
I think everybody always says like the Pac-12 gets overlooked because it comes on late and nobody watches them stuff. I don't really think that's true because I watch the Pac-12. I just think it's not as good. But the exception to the rule is Utah.
Oh, what about Oregon?
Legit, and they can play with anybody.
No Oregon?
Well, you see it every single time Oregon gets on a big stage.
That's fair.
They get smacked by the best teams of the other conferences.
That's fair. All right, moving on. So wait, is 22 a good spot? I think if the season was going, I would give them 22, maybe even higher, maybe like an 18, late teen spot.
Yeah.
Because they were very
quarterback
competitive.
And running back though.
They did lose their quarterback, running back, but they're kind of at that stage where they consistently put out like 8 wins, something like that. So I like you know what you can expect them to lose, maybe USC, Oregon, maybe Stanford, those type of schools. But outside of that, I don't see them losing much in the Pac-12 if there was a season. All right, UCF Knights. They're not playing either, right?
They are playing.
They are playing. That league is playing. All right. So then this is, I tell you what, you could see a chance where maybe UCF somehow, puts another one of those undefeated seasons out. No Big Ten, no Pac-12. You don't have to compete with those Power 5 conferences. Maybe this is the year one of these schools find a way into the national championship contention, USC, 21. I like it. It's not too high. It's not too low. It has a chance for them to grow and move up in the rankings. I'm fine with it. EJ.
I'm fine with it too. They've been a good team for the past couple of years, so put some respect on their name.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they move up.
Yep, agreed. Grant?
I am not a UCF believer, and I kind of never have been, except for the 1 year with Mackenzie Milton. But then when he got hurt, I was like, they're done. But I thought he was really good.
He was good.
They play my Jackets this year. And I really think Georgia Tech is going to beat them. I don't think they're that good.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Moving on. Cincinnati Bearcats. What? Surprise spot on this list.
I like Cincinnati.
I guess the polls do too. Good for them, I guess. I don't really have much to say about Cincinnati. I think the real talk of the town are the Bengals, not the Bearcats. So we'll see what happens there. Grant, thought on Cincinnati since you like them so much.
I think it's good. Every time anybody talks about UCF, I'm always like, Cincinnati's just as good. They play in the same conference and nobody ever talks about them. And it's just because of that 1 year where they claimed a national championship. Cincinnati does like almost the same thing every year.
EJ.
Dude, I think they should be 20. I mean, when I watch Cincinnati play football, it's kind of boring. That's just me.
I would think Utah. Flip-flop Utah, Cincinnati.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Minnesota, row the boat, Gophers. I like 19, but obviously Big Ten's not playing, so I'm just going to keep it moving. Are you guys good at that?
That's fine with me.
All right. 18 for the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jordan squad. This is actually a surprising spot. I think this Tar Heels team is going to compete for the ACC championship. I love my boy Howell, right? Howell?
Sam Howell. Mm-hmm.
Sam Howell. The dude is a beast. He was a true freshman last year. I think I watched the opening game, and he just impressed me. I think was it against South Carolina? Was it the opening game against South Carolina?
Yeah, it was.
The dude, I think, is a superstar in the making. He has a chance to be at least. I like this Tar Heel team. I think they could finish. Since obviously a lot of the other leagues aren't playing, I'm going top 10. I think they can easily sneak their way into a top 10 discussion. Not playoffs. It's a little early. I'm going to go next year maybe, but top 10 at least. EJ.
Yeah, North Carolina is a good team. They've been improving the past 3-4 years. I think they're probably the fourth or third best team in the ACC. Now you add Notre Dame in that.
Yeah, you do add Notre Dame
in that little, conference. But yeah, I like North Carolina. Are they better than Georgia Tech? I guess we'll see.
Grant?
Yeah,
I
think they're better than Georgia Tech right now. Yeah. I don't know why they're recruiting. So why do all these kids want to play for Mac Brown?
I have no idea. I really don't know. But to be fair, I think North Carolina's one of the sickest jerseys. I think they have one of the coolest color schemes. I think just the Jordan aesthetic, and Chapel Hill is one of the top institutions in the country too. I mean, and when you're in the football program, if you think about it, you're there for 3 years. It's not like where basketball, usually if you're a really good player, you're one and done. If you're obviously a really good player, you're going to be here for 3 years. So you might as well get the best degree you can, which is, North Carolina. So I'm not surprised. I think because, again, if it was basketball, I would be a little shocked because these players, pretty much leave anyway. So what does a degree matter? Even though they can go back and still get it, which a bunch of them do. But, football, you're there for 3 years. Most of them complete their degree. Might as well get it from, the Tar Heels.
That's true.
You guys think finish top 10? What's its finishing position? Where do y'all?
Nah, I don't think they'll finish in the top 10. They might make the ACC championship, just because the Coastal is going to be so bad. But yeah, I don't think they'll finish in the top 10.
EJ?
I agree with Grant. I don't think they finish in the top 10, but they finish in the top 25 because there's only like 25 schools. So.
All right.
They're building towards a top 10 finish.
EJ, I'll let you take this one. The USC Trojans. I got nothing to say. They're not playing this year, so go ahead. What would we expect?
Well, if USC Trojan was playing this year, this has probably been their best season since their Rose Bowl season. I think we have enough returning players, and we're also very young. Hey, watch your mouth. And our coaching staff is actually a pretty decent coaching staff. Yeah, Clay Helton has been on the hot seat for the last 20 years.
Seems like every year he's on the hot seat.
Or whoever their coach is.
Yeah, whoever it is, whoever there is.
Listen, I'm waiting for, we do get Urban Meyer. I would love that.
Would it be
Clay
crazy
is my coach,
if y'all got Steve Sarkisian? Wouldn't that be wild?
They need to get Pete Carroll to come back.
I would love to have Pete. I'd love to have Pete to come back and finish what he started. So, but I think USC is too low. I think 17 is too low. I think we should be I think we're better than
No. Every year when they rank USC in the top 10, they lose the first 4 games. Every year.
No. Stop it right now. USC, if we had the little football schedule we had this year before Pac-12 went to go in a panic attack, we would have probably went undefeated, maybe one loss.
Does USC beat Bama week 1? Because that was the original matchup.
Oh,
USC would have beat Bama.
Shut up, bro! Get out of here!
USC would have beat Bama. And you know what? Call Nick Saban too, because that's what's going to happen. If it did happen.
You're so trash. All right, moving on. Michigan Wolverines are ranked 16. I have nothing to say. I think Harbaugh should be fired. Keep it moving. We're good. Big Ten's not playing.
Sure.
We got a couple Oklahoma and Texas schools. We got Oklahoma State at 15, Texas Longhorns at 14, and Texas A&M at 13. I'm fine with this. I think we talked about how A&M has a chance to be, I think around the 4th or 5th best team in the SEC, but then they had the chance to be the first, best team. It depends. They have a returning quarterback in Kellen Mond. But obviously they play a tough schedule. It's hard to play against Bama and LSU every year, and then you throw Auburn into the mix, and it's not easy. But they have a chance. So, they will finish top 25. Texas, I like the Longhorns. I think 14 is a good spot. Again, I think they're similar like USC, where they'll be ranked high and then lose a couple games. But when they're ranked lower, they outperform their ranking. So, and then Oklahoma State, always an interesting team. They always are competitive. So it'd be interesting to see what these teams do. But I think this is a fair ranking for them. 13, 14, 15. I like it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Oklahoma State is always fun, but I've got Texas winning the Big 12 this year. How do you like that?
Interesting.
I'm not saying they're back.
Ellinger? A little Ellinger action?
Yeah, I really like him, and he's just a gamer, and they've got a bunch coming back. And I think they might mess around and play some defense in the Big 12. And I think Oklahoma competes with them, but I'll take Ellinger in college over Spencer Rattler because he's unproven. And I think Texas messes around and wins the Big 12 this year. And Texas A&M, you talk about like opportunity. Like this is the opportunity of a lifetime. They can mess around and win the West. It's like they actually can. Normally every year.
You're high on them. I know you are.
You look at Texas A&M every year and you're like, that sucks. Like it sucks for them. They have no chance. But this year you're like, they could, and I'm not saying they will, but this is as good as it gets in the SEC West.
Quarterback turnover in the two strongest teams in that side of the conference. It's their chance. It is their chance. EJ.
Yeah, I agree with Grant. Oklahoma State, fun to watch. Fun team. They will pass the ball all over you. It feels like my USC Trojan team that will pass the ball all over you. Texas. Texas, Texas, USC, you know what? Vince Young stole one from us. I'm not talking about Texas. Texas A&M. Texas A&M, like Grant said, this is their opportunity. And I really, truly believe that because all these teams they haven't had full practices. They haven't had a full off-season spring football. Like these are for teams that who is better prepared. So Texas A&M come better prepared with a great coach. Texas A&M could do something. I don't think they will, but they could.
They could. You're right. And I'm with you. I don't think they will, but they very well possibly could. All right. Rounding it out, heading into the top 10, we got Wisconsin Badgers, Auburn Tigers, and Notre Dame Fighting Irish at 10. Keep it real quick, and then we're going to move into the top 10 because we're almost running out of time on this segment. The Badgers, finally they're giving respect to Wisconsin Badgers. I think 12 is a good spot. Gives them a chance to move up or move down depending on their season, but they always seem to forget about Wisconsin in the Big Ten. So happy for them there, but obviously they're not going to play, so it doesn't matter. I think 11 for Auburn Tigers is a good spot. Again, it gives them a chance to, you're not overhyping them in the top 10, but you're also, not discrediting them. So they have a chance to be really good or mediocre. Auburn kind of hits you with that every other year. That's why they keep Gus Malzahn as much as they have. He'll come out, beat Bama and then lose, the next year to, get 8 losses. So that's kind of what they do. And then Notre Dame, you're right, moving into the ACC has a chance to be the number 2 team. I agree. I think it's Clemson's league to lose, obviously. They are a powerhouse in that conference. So, that's it's tough, but I'm happy for them to be in the ACC because it gives them a chance to, really compete for our conference championship instead of being independent. We're gonna keep moving on to top 10. I'm just gonna list them out. Oregon at number 9, Florida Gators at number 8, Penn State Nittany Lions at number 7, LSU Tigers at 6. They received 1 vote for the top spot. Oklahoma Sooners number 5, Georgia Bulldogs number 4, Alabama Crimson Tide number 2, Ohio State Buckeyes 21, Clemson Tigers 38 first place votes. Damn, that's a lot of first place votes. Obviously Ohio State's not playing. Right now they aren't playing. Same for the Nittany Lions, same for the Oregon Ducks. But I'm happy with this top 10. I think LSU should be higher. Just because if you're the reigning champion, shouldn't you still have like a top 3 spot? I know they lost obviously Joe, but
they lost everything.
They lost everybody, but
they lost everything.
All right, but don't you at least top 5? Maybe put them at 5th. It's not like they have a lot of. I don't
know, man. I think Oklahoma's better than them.
I think putting Georgia at 4 is interesting.
And I think putting Georgia in the top 25 is interesting in itself.
Oh, damn, EJ. All right, real quick, just yes or no. Do y'all like Clemson being at number 1?
Definitely. Landslide national champion.
Oh, okay. EJ?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a beast. And without Ohio State, landslide national champion, you might as well give Clemson the trophy right now.
So Trevor Lawrence the Heisman right now too.
Real quick, I know we're gonna end this segment real quick, but so dream scenario would have been Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Fields in the national championship.
They took that from us, Evan. They
That's what I'm saying.
They took that from us.
All right, everybody, we'll be right back, and then we'll have the NBA ready for y'all. See ya.
Hey guys, take this moment to like and subscribe, and also follow us on the Instagram and Twitter at Curbside Entertainment and at Curbside Network, respectively. You can also find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to it. X's and O's with Evan and Bros. I'm your most gracious host, Evan. Joining me through Zoom is Mr. EJ Moneyman Mitchem and Mr. Grant Plunket.
What's up?
Yep.
All right. Now that we have, we've done our duty in doing college football, it's time to talk about the best league in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir.
what we're going to do is we're going to start on Friday. Okay? We're going to start Friday. If there's a game that pops off, let's talk about it, okay? So, game... Now, you guys are going to have to correct me if I'm wrong or not. So, we're starting with the LA Clippers and the Dallas Mavs. LA Clippers won this game 130 to 122. Okay? So, this is Friday. And obviously, Kawhi has been, and we'll get later to the, what's it, the Sunday game?
What game was that? Was that game 3?
This is game 3.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is game 3. So the Clippers are technically up after this game 2-1.
And Luka got hurt in that game.
Yes, this is the game that Luka got hurt. Okay, so Kawhi balled out. Kawhi has been balling out.
So good.
I think it's been it sucks because it's hard. You would think that a guy who's a 2-time champion, 2 times finals MVP wouldn't get overlooked on the floor, right? But, and we'll talk about this in the game 4, but the kid, the 21-year-old on the court with him is just unstoppable. Like, I don't even, and we'll talk about it, what that kid, Luka Doncic, did to the Clippers, and that apparently the best defense, I mean, I think Milwaukee is probably the best defense, right? But one of the top defensive teams, everybody, they take pride, they pound the court, they take pride in being one of the best defensive teams in the league. And obviously they don't have Pat Bev. So let's talk about some. Paul George, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 of 16, 1 for 8 from 3.
That might be his best game of the series?
This might be his best game from the series. And
Playoff
that's
P.
seriously playoff P, man. And obviously the Clippers pulled this one out all because of Kawhi. Dallas was still in this game without Luka, really.
Trey Burke.
And if you think about this series is kind of weird, man, because you could argue that Dallas should have won game 1. They didn't, but they should have won game 1. They did pull out a pretty, I thought, convincing win in game 2. I thought it was convincing. Game 3 was close, but Clippers pull it out. And then obviously game 4, I mean, this one might go 7. Just because it's just Kawhi. It's a Kawhi and Luka. I know EJ's over there praying to go 7. But real quick, I know the game we want to talk about is the Sunday night game. So what did y'all think real quick on the Friday night performance by Kawhi and the Clips?
You can go first, DJ.
All right, cool. Kawhi is playing like Kawhi plays to me. He controls the game slow, just like how Greg Popovich taught him. And he's the only Clipper that has awoken from this Paul George. I mean, I don't know what to say about Paul George, because I really like Paul George. I'm a big fan of Paul George, but he's not here. I don't know where he's at. He must be in Los Angeles, because he's definitely not in this bubble. But Kawhi played good. I hope Mavs win in 6. What the 7?
Well, I think almost anybody, if you didn't have the Clippers winning it all, and all right, just if the Clippers lose this series, not saying they're going to, but I picked the Mavs to win this series. If the Clippers lose this series, do you get rid of Paul George?
No.
You bring somebody in?
No. I think they're fine. I think they just need more time to gel.
That could be it. And obviously, again, Pat Bev is out, but considering this is supposed to be one of the deeper teams. And honestly, Reggie Jackson has been playing out of his mind. Like
He's been shooting well.
This guy's been shooting so well. But Grant, and it's just crazy because Porzingis had another great game. Porzingis has been playing great in the bubble.
Mm.
And then he obviously did not play game 4. And I was thinking, shit, that means
same.
Clips, right? I was like, Clips going to go up. I was like, oh my God, go up 3-1. It's going to be too tough. But then again, we see the greatness.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Give me your thoughts on this game real quick.
I'm trying to. It feels like 20 years ago.
It does.
So, like that shot from Luka is clouding everything before that.
Yeah, every game before that. Yeah,
there are two parts of history now. Everything after that Luka shot, and everything before. But I'm pretty. This is Marcus Morris and Landry Shamet. I think played really well for the Clippers. And it was like Marcus Morris's like best game as a Clipper, pretty much. And I don't think he just shot well.
I don't know that game 1, he shot really well.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I'm telling you, dude, it's hard to remember.
I mean, Marcus 14.
Yeah, he still played really good.
Yeah, he went 4 for 5 on the 3.
Porzingis, godlike. He is so good, and I underestimated how good he really was because him off the catch and shoot from like deep 3 is so elite.
So don't take this offensive, EJ. Obviously, Porzingis is definitely the best 7-foot big man shooting, right? Like, you know how AD in that, I think it was either game 1 when he shot like 4 threes and all of them were bricks. Like they weren't even like didn't even snip the net. Well, Porzingis can do with his shot. It's true. He went like 0 for 4 from 3. Him and LeBron combined for like 1 for like 8 from 3 in that game 1. In game one, it's a whole different NBA world we live in now. Post Luka shot, pre Luka shot, like Grant said. And Porzingis, his shot is so good. It's so good. It's so hard to defend. Keep going.
This series has a billion storylines you can follow. But I mean, other than Luke, right now the ones is Paul George being terrible. Kawhi has stepped into superstar category where every single game out, you know what you're gonna get, and he doesn't fall. And I'm the resident Kawhi hater, but I will say that. And the only reason I hate on Kawhi is because people say he's the best. He's not the best, but he is in rare category where he's every single night elite. And the Mavs supporting cast. You're talking about Seth Curry, Tim Hardaway, Trey Burke. Maxi Kleber does a lot. He's not shooting well, but he does a lot for the team. It's
on defense. Kleber's taking on what? Kawhi? Isn't Kleber guarding Kawhi on defense?
Of the time, yeah.
Obviously, Kawhi's still putting up 30 plus. It's like when Andre Iguodala was guarding LeBron in the 20s. You know, LeBron was still giving him 30, but like, you know, I guess what else are you gonna do?
MVP.
Yeah, it's the Mavs. How did Portland let Seth Curry go?
Well, who knew he was? I mean, he's finishing so well.
He is.
And
he is.
The shot is crazy. He's like the best shooter in the NBA, but he's like dynamic.
He's motivated.
He's motivated. He is. He sees Paul. His wife told him, "You better fuck up Paul George." I get one of those. It's like you better mess that son of a bitch up, and he's going for it, man. I love it. He's got some
Did
dog
you see that
in
when
him.
he got that AM1 layup?
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah, it was all over Twitter. Crazy. If you didn't see it, it's crazy. And I loved it. I think it's because what? He's like 6 foot, right? I mean,
I think we need more of that.
Seth's not a big guy. He's smaller than his brother, and so it's just like. I'm happy for him to be killing it. All right, let's move on. Boston 76ers. This game is basically the game that got Brett Brown fired. I think Boston took a 3-0 lead. And originally we picked Philadelphia to win one of these games. We thought it would go 5 just because you thought Joel Embiid. But they're ruining Joel Embiid. This system has let him down. And now, you know, Boston took 3-0. We'll talk about it later, but they got the brooms out and swept the 76ers. Boston might be the most dangerous team in the East. They got, no? Gordon Hayward, do you think was too much?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not the most dangerous.
All right, we'll talk about it. But Celtics took a 3-0 lead. After that, I was like, all right, they're going to sweep them, and they did. So, thoughts on this game real quick? EJ, you go first.
Man, like I said, the 76ers was a fraud to begin with. It was a fraud team with Brett Brown as coach. To me, I mean, they made the best decision for that franchise to fire Brett Brown. I guess we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about it later.
All right, cool. I mean, Boston, Jason Tatum just turned up. Jaylen Brown, just as good.
Kimba has been playing really well. Kimba's been playing.
Kemba Walker, man. I mean, he always been good, but I'm glad he's on a team where he can show his talent more. When he was with Charlotte, you know, we knew Kemba Walker. He was an all-star, I think, one time with Charlotte, maybe twice. But now we see him on TV, and we can see how really good Kemba is. I like Boston. Are they the most dangerous team?
In the
I
East.
think it's still Milwaukee.
Still Milwaukee? Okay. I just think
in the East, yeah.
You neutralize Giannis, and obviously Middleton has played better since game 1 in this series, and we can talk about the Bucks later. But you stop Giannis, you stop that entire team. Now that's the problem though. You have to stop Giannis first. But we'll move on. All right. Y'all, can I just say I owe the Jazz a huge apology. I think every sports media person.
I didn't get to talk Sixers.
Oh, talk Sixers. Go ahead.
All right. I'm actually a Brett Brown fan, but because last year in the Raptors series, he like outcoached Nick Nurse. They were outmanned almost everywhere.
Well, they should have won the series, but
yeah, and they should have won the series. They could have went to the finals, and they were like one shot away.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
This series, I think he definitely got himself fired. The one glaring mismatch on the court is you have the most dominant big man in the NBA, and the Celtics don't have anyone to guard him. Anyone. And you could tell when they put it down there to him, nobody could guard him. And they why didn't they use that? Game 2 was what I think got him fired. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah. And
he's just leaving Shake Milton out on an island to guard Kimba. And he did not have a good series.
Well, and he's given we'll move on soon, but NATO quality minutes. And I'm like, in no world, shape, or form should NATO be out here getting quality minutes. Ever.
Dude, put Matisse Thybulle in the game and tell him to go guard the scorer. I can do this. It was driving me crazy.
He's the best defender.
Yeah.
And he didn't guard the best player.
All right. Nuggets Jazz.
Everyone was wrong.
Everybody was wrong.
In the world.
And I was like, the Jazz could get one from superhuman efforts from Donovan Mitchell. And then they got that from Donovan Mitchell, but lost game 1.
But when ever had the Nuggets been good, though?
I know this year they're good.
But when they get to the playoff, the Nuggets are not a good team. We know this.
I'm with you, but I also believe that the Jazz did the same thing, where the Jazz are really competitive during the regular season, then they stink it up in the playoffs, right? True. Is that fair? Okay. Is that a good comparison? And so seeing these,
this is the blowout game, right?
This is the blowout. This is
they
spanked the living shit out of them. Okay. They emptied their bowels. That's how bad they beat them. I love this Nuggets team. I'm a big Jokic guy, Michael Porter Jr. guy. Jamal Murray's still he's playing out of his mind still, but apparently it's not enough against Donovan Mitchell. And I'm just saying, I know there was talk going into the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker, they're both really good players. They're pretty much the same player. Not true. I think Donovan Mitchell is way better than Booker. I love Booker. Love Booker. Donovan Mitchell is better. Not by much, but he's better. And then, you can argue he's better than Simmons at this point, the way he's leading this team. So I'm shocked by the Jazz fans. I'm sorry. I mean, not really. Y'all a bunch of racists, so I'm not really a big fan of y'all.
That's unfair.
But so I tell you what, kudos to the Jazz. They're going to win this maybe in 5. Because spoiler alert, they also won game 4. So they're up 3-1. So EJ.
Donovan is playing like Donovan played 2 years ago?
He's playing like Michael Jordan. He's playing like Michael Jordan right now. He's doing his best Michael Jordan impression.
Like he is a beast. Like I was watching the game. I watched both of these games, but game 4, when we talk about that, I was like, goodness, great. Like this man is unguardable. Like they couldn't, but Jamal Murray was unguardable too. Like that man had a stretch where he made like 5 straight threes, all pick and rolls.
In game 4, right? In game 4?
Yeah, in game 4, which Nuggets only offense is pick and roll. Like I didn't see Nuggets haven't changed their offense, and then the Jazz were like, okay, keep running these pick and rolls because that's how you're gonna run your offense. We're gonna adjust. But talk about the Jazz. I like the Jazz. I'm glad. I hope there's upset with Utah, and I hope there's an upset with the Mavs. So the Lakers can walk up, beat the Thunder or the Rockets. I don't care who it is. It could be their mamas, and they still gonna beat them. And then go to the 3rd round and walk to the finals and beat whoever. Donovan Mitchell is a beast. But speaking of the Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker, I don't know, because Devin Booker was in this playoff. If he was playing that Dallas team, that Denver team, I think he would drop 52. Like, Devin is
so if Phoenix was playing Denver, you think he'd be doing the same thing?
Yeah, but Phoenix would have probably lost because Donovan got a better team around him than what Phoenix has.
Grant.
Yeah, there are certain teams that like inspire me watching. And you just know this Jazz team fires me up. I watch them. I want to go run through a brick wall. They heard like everything that everyone was saying about them. They're torn apart in the locker room. Nuggets in 5. Nuggets sweep. Didn't give them a shot.
Trade Gobert. Get rid of him and Donovan Mitchell hate each other.
Exactly. And people act like without Bogdanovich, they were just like wrecked. And they just came out there and just like punched Denver in the mouth.
No, listen though. But to be fair, they couldn't score when they were doing these 8 games before the playoffs. They could not score. Donovan Mitchell had to score 30 if they wanted a chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the
game
shooting
1
has been the big difference.
Yeah, in game 1, he scored 57, y'all. 3rd all time in a playoff game. and they still lost. But guess what? Mike Conley has come back. And he has been huge for the Jazz. I'm talking huge.
Who else is their X factor?
Jordan Clarkson's been playing really good.
Clarkson has been playing really, really good.
AJ, like that Laker blood.
Yeah, I'm going to let you know. He came from Missouri, but he was drafted by the Lakers.
He came from Vanderbilt. He's a Vandy guy.
He's a Vandy? Oh, well, then Vandy. It don't matter. The Lakers drafted him first. Just letting you know. They see talent.
Could you imagine if LeBron James had a player like Jordan Clarkson on this team?
Oh my God, be quiet. He had a player like Jordan Clarkson on his team, and I'll hate him forever.
Grant, are you done gushing about the Jazz?
No, I want to talk about Denver because the shooting has been probably the reason why they're winning the games, but the Jazz like punched them in the mouth. Like they're like, we are going to play harder than you. We're going to get every loose ball and we are going to play harder than you. Every single, like while the ball is live, we're going to out effort you. And the Nuggets do not want any part of that. That's what I've noticed. Like Jokic that needs to grow up. Gobert has taken it to him and he does not want any part of it.
Well, isn't that crazy? Jokic, and obviously, so I originally thought the way that Jokic plays actually is the better matchup against Gobert because he's not out here driving to the rim, right? But every time Jokic does attempt to drive to the rim, Gobert is playing like you remember the All-Star game? the way Gobert played in the All-Star game, that is exactly how he's playing in this series. The dude, he heard everybody, and he was like, hey, if I didn't get COVID, we wouldn't be having this badass bubble anyway. So you're welcome. And he's taking it upon himself, and he's scoring. Obviously, the majority has kind of been lobs and stuff like that, but the dude's hitting 20, and he's blocking shots at the rim. Gobert is solidifying himself in that top 3 center discussion, where it's like you can put Embiid. AD is not a center, EJ. I just want you to know that. Okay.
I hope not.
He's not. AD hates the 5, so he's not a center. Embiid, Jokic, and Gobert, right? Obviously, Cat needs to be better in the playoffs. It needs to be more. I think Cat right now is kind of like right now is like how Jokic has been. We're not. You remember it was at the Houston series where he was not aggressive whatsoever. Cat. And he was bullied. Right now, Jokic is soft and getting bullied by Gobert.
Yeah.
Want to move on? We got a lot of games to talk about.
We got like 4 days of games.
We got 4 days of games. All right. So Raptors Nets. I tell you what, and my boy Van Vliet. Raptors have to do everything in their power to keep Van Vliet in a Raptors uniform. I don't know if they can.
I don't think so.
I think that Kyle Lowry contract's too much, and obviously they paid Siakam, so I don't think they're going to be able to afford Van Vliet.
He's going to get paid.
He's going to get the bag.
Somebody's going to pay him. The Lakers
he's
going to pay
get paid. And I'm telling you, the Lakers need to go after him.
We need to get Danny Green out of there and go get him.
They would probably have to get rid of the Caldwell Pope contract, or he's going to have to take some less money, rework it or something.
Trade him. You don't need KCP.
But hey, you pair Fred, AD, and LeBron. I like it. I really do. As a third best scorer, and then he can go out and get 30 himself. I like it. But Fred's been playing out of his mind. He is pretty much. I would argue it's his team over Pascal. He's definitely played better than Pascal.
Stop.
He's played better than Pascal.
Okay. No, it's not his. It's Kyle Lowry's team, and Siakam's the best player.
That's fair. But this team, as we know, sweeps the Nets. I thought the Nets could get a at least one out of this because the Nets have been playing very well in the bubble. Even though they have a bunch of G Leaguers and retirees. So I'm surprised, but they gave it their best effort. But we know the outcome. The Raptors have swept the Brooklyn Nets. EJ.
Like I said at the beginning, when we first started this thing, the Raptors are a team to watch out for. I mean, yes, they played Brooklyn. They had absolutely nobody. They had a couple players. But the Raptors are a nasty team. And they play team ball. And Nick Nurse is getting better as a coach of the year. Shout out to him.
Dude's legit. The dude is legit.
Yeah.
And he's going to coach of the year every year.
and who do they play? Are they going to play Miami or are they playing Milwaukee next round? I forgot if the Raptors are second.
They play the Celtics.
They play the Celtics. Okay. So
it's got to go 7, right?
That's going to be a good series. But I can't wait till the second round of the Eastern.
It's going to be way more competitive. It's going to be way more competitive. For sure.
That's going to be fun.
It will be.
I don't really got a lot on the Raptors. I mean, they always been good, and they're playing better without Kawhi. Is what Grant always hard.
Hold on, but no, okay. But the argument,
I obviously don't think their team is better without Kawhi Leonard. The fact that they win more games without him, though, has to say something. That never happens.
It just
for the
says
other stars
as
in the league.
how good. Well, no, because I don't know. It's weird because you could argue the Pelicans were better without AD. And
that's not true, though.
Yes, they were. They went to the playoffs. AD went to the playoffs once without they were almost went to the playoffs.
Pelicans didn't go to the playoffs first of all, and they were missing like that, and they got a ton in return and added Zion. That's why they're that good.
Yeah, but AD shits on Zion.
That's a completely different team that AD had, and you know that.
Watch your mouth. AD didn't have nobody on that team. He only had DeMarcus Cousins for like 2 years, like a year.
It wasn't like a year.
Yeah.
But they were balling out, scoring 25 each, getting 10 and 5 each.
That was fun.
Best duo in the league at the time. Just saying.
Someone got hurt.
Yeah, my boy.
All right, am I free to talk Lakers?
Boogie's my favorite player of all time.
Am I free to talk
EJ,
Raptors
so
now?
I can. Yeah, go ahead. Talk Raptors.
I love this Raptors team so much, and I'm gonna say it. I think they're coming out of the East. If I had to bet on somebody to win the Eastern Conference, I would bet on the Toronto Raptors. And I'm getting dangerously close to saying they're going to win the finals. If I had to like bet my life on it, I think I might take the Raptors. I think I would. They are so good. I think they beat the Celtics maybe in 5 games.
What? In
They're
5?
They're perfectly matched up for it. It is the most perfect
6,
matchup.
EJ? Well, hey.
Well,
I'll take
once
Raptors
all
in
the
6,
once all the series are over, once all the games are done, we're going to pick round 2. Okay, we're going to pick the semis on who we think what's going to happen. Okay, so you're good. You don't have to do it right now. We'll pick it later. All right, let's move on to Saturday.
I remember that, Brent.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Put that in your. Keep that. Keep that.
you.
All right. So we don't have to stay. So this game 3 for the Lakers Trailblazers. This was the nail in the coffin. I thought this was a must win for the Trailblazers personally because the way the Lakers dominated in game 2, I thought they needed to come out with some fire, with something else, and they did not. This was terrible. They got their ass whipped by the Lakers, and they're going to lose in 5. I got nothing else I need to say about this game. Anybody else?
Till we get to game 4, I'm waiting till we get to game 4. I don't need to talk about game 3.
Yeah. Grant?
I thought the Trailblazers played like okay in that game. It was just the Lakers shot well. When the Lakers shoot well, nobody in the league is going to beat them.
Yeah, I agree. AD played out of his mind in this game.
Oh yeah.
All right, moving on. Rockets Thunder. Thunder win this game, gets it to 2-1, and then we later find out what happens in game 4. So this series could go 7.
What a fun series.
It's been a fun series. It's been down to the wire. It seems like one team is on top of each other. Houston literally has to. I honestly hate the way they're playing basketball right now. I love this Houston's team, but I hate watching them just haul up the stupidest threes just to hit their marker, just to break the record. It just doesn't. Well, I'm with you, and I love this team. I love James Harden, top 5 player in the league for sure. EJ, but this team, when they're cold, they are cold. They are cold. I mean, freezing cold, frostbite cold. And I hate watching it because it's brick. They're building a house. They're building their own stadium. They're building what's it? Are they the AT&T? What's their Houston stadium? They're building one over there, and it's terrible.
Like Rockets
in Orlando.
Yeah, in Orlando. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right?
Sounds good.
We'll pick up where we left off. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, take this moment to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Curbside Entertainment and Curbside Network, respectively. You can also find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to X's and O's with Evan and Bros. I'm your most gracious host, Evan. We are finishing up Game 3 of OKC in the Houston Rockets. Grant, thoughts on this game, Saturday?
I think the tale of the first 2 games was the Rockets team helping James Harden. And when they do that, they're going to win. And then the tale of game 3 and game 4, as we'll get to, is them not playing very well, and then they lose. Yeah. And what you thought was going to be the Thunder's biggest advantage was Steven Adams was just going to maul PJ Tucker.
They have to take him out.
But yeah, PJ Tucker, I'm telling you, he is one of the most valuable players to his team in the NBA. He is
MVP.
Well, he's not the most valuable player. Just when you talk about to his team, if he wasn't able to play, it would fall apart. and he's just been so good for them. But really, I keep watching Chris Paul mentoring Shea, and like everybody says Chris Paul mentoring Shea, but mentoring Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has changed his game so much, and he's so smart, and he's been so good for that. Their guard play has really just changed the series.
Well, and also, who's going to defend this three-headed monster
For real.
of point guards? Because Schroeder's going to attack the basket. Chris Paul going to attack the basket. Shea going to attack the basket. I mean, this three-headed monster has been huge for OKC. I mean, Schroeder's probably going to win Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah. They like play all three of them down the stretch in games.
It's their death lineup. Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, I think they have like 35 wins when it's within 5 with 5 minutes left or something. I was like, oh my goodness.
Clutchest team in the NBA, apparently.
And it's led by a 35-year-old 6-foot guy.
From Wake Forest.
That's amazing. That is amazing that team is so successful.
EJ.
I agree. The OKC puts Houston in foul trouble when they had those three players in, because they just drive. And then Houston don't have a center, so they don't have a shot blocker to stop the driving. So OKC matchup against Houston. This is why I thought Houston was a tough way in, because they had no center. And when they face the LeBron James, or they face with a Trailblazer team that really does jack up shots, just like Houston. But if they face LeBron James or AD, they have no one that can guard AD. And LeBron's on another mission. So, I mean, good luck stopping him. I think they should put Robert Covington at the 5, because I think PJ Tucker is great when he makes his shots, but Robert Covington is more consistent. They can bring in Daniel House. And when Russell Westbrook comes back, if he does come back in this series, and if he don't come back, I think the Thunder could probably pull this one out. I don't know what Russell Westbrook would do in this series, because he jacks up stupid shots too. But this tells you at the beginning, and I was going to say it's for Game 4, that Mike D'Antoni offense is only a regular season offense. It only works when you're just playing and not when you're playing meaningful games. Because when the threes don't fall, and they shot 57 of them in Game 4. Okay,
so well,
Game 4.
Yeah, they broke the record with 56 this game, and then they broke with Game 4. Then they broke the record in Game 4.
That's awesome.
Like in your James Harden, I understand. Like, you're the leader, but you need to tell people to drive. Like, when Steven Adams is not in the game, if you're facing Gallinari, he's a mismatch.
Attack him. He doesn't move. Yeah.
He doesn't move at all. So drive. Like, you're more than. And I mean, Eric Gordon's playing great too. He didn't really play great at the end of Game 4, but I don't know. That's all I said, man. I don't think James Harden will win a ring anytime soon if he stays in that offense.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, and because Daryl Morey makes moves. He's one of the few GMs that, and I like Daryl Morey because he does make moves, right? I respect him because he changes things up. Could we see a scenario where he's watching D'Antoni, lob up 56 threes, and he's like, dude, this is not working. And would it be a different series if they did have Clint Capella? Would this be a different scenario if they had a rim protector to protect after these guards are breaking down? Because this Houston team has to be one of the older teams in the league. And they can't really guard a lot of these guys off the dribble. That's why Schroeder's getting to the bat. I watched it yesterday, Game 4, and we'll talk about Game 4 later. All right, I'm going to save that for Game 4. All right, let's move on. Pacers Heat. I thought this would be more competitive. Heat are dominating them, and spoiler alert, the Heat sweep the Pacers. But still, nobody's talking about the Heat. I feel like not enough. You are. So this series is upsetting. I thought this could have been the most competitive series out of the bunch. Turns out it was the least competitive out of the bunch. I feel bad for the Pacers. They're riddled with injuries. I guess try again next year. do something different, trade people, try to get a big name, tank 1 year. If you're Indiana, you got to do something different. EJ, thoughts on the Heat as we later find out sweeping the Pacers, basically?
The Heat is who I thought they were. I thought they were a good team. They led by Jimmy Butler, even though Game 4, Jimmy Butler barely played. But that tells you how good that Heat team is because he only scored, like, I think 6 points in Game 4. But
yeah,
he and Bam, like Grant said this 2-3 weeks ago. Bam is a beast. And where did Bam come from, Grant? What university?
UK.
University of Kentucky, baby. University of Kentucky. Tyler Hero? Where did Tyler Hero come from?
UK.
University of Kentucky, baby. So, I like the Heat. I don't know how they're going to do in the next series, but Pacers had no answer from Miami.
Grant?
The Miami Heat are built for the NBA playoffs. I will say that until I go to my grave. That team is awesome. And they are just a bunch of dogs too, man. I love that team so much.
Well, and they like each other. They know their roles.
They love playing together.
They know their roles.
They work hard.
Dragic has been huge for
so big.
Nobody.
They don't even play Kendrick Nunn anymore.
Yeah, they don't have to. But, like, isn't that crazy, though? Who would have thought Goran Dragic would have been, like, I don't know if he's a difference maker, but he's getting 20 points, and he's just been huge, smart player. He knows what to do. He's a great point guard, veteran player. I mean, I'm happy for him.
Oh, it's awesome. Their whole team. And here you go. I'm going to say it. The Heat beat the Bucks in the second round in 7 games. I really think that's going to happen.
Another hot take by Grant.
The Miami Heat will beat the Milwaukee Bucks in 7 games in the second round.
I will agree if Miami beats Milwaukee, then the Toronto Raptors will beat Miami.
That's part of the reason why I have the Raptors.
There you go.
Because I really think the Heat are going to beat the Bucks.
We'll make those picks later. I'm not mad at it. All right, moving on. Bucks Magic. Obviously Bucks dropped game 1, but they have looked so much better since that game. They're up 2-1 in this game. We later find out they go 3-1. And this series is over. Vucevic did his best shot compression, but he can only do so much. It's similar where a bunch of these other teams, I thought when they have one really good player, they have to score 30, and then it's just not enough. And he did get the 1, but it's not enough. So Bucks, unsurprisingly, look like the defensive team we thought they were. Grant, thoughts?
Yeah. The Magic have actually, I know they're getting spanked, but they've actually kind of impressed me. And I've always said this, that they're better than everybody thinks they are, because they're in the playoffs every year, and they've got some good pieces. Evan Fournier's really slept on, but
well, he hasn't played the best though in this series. I agree. Evan is slept on. I think y'all were talking about Fred. Fred's better than Evan, but if Evan was in a Lakers jersey,
that he would help the team so much.
That's I think if he was the third option on a team,
even just a guy like that, yeah,
I think that'd be huge.
That would help so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this series is about the Bucks, and they're just dominant in every phase of basketball, and they've shown it. Giannis is the man.
EJ?
Giannis is the man. I mean,
it's going to be a bidding war come 2021.
I'm telling you, boy, I can't wait for that because Milwaukee keeps losing finals, keep losing playoff games. He's going to leave, and where's he going to go? I hope he don't go to Miami. But,
hey, that's the talk of the town, though.
I think he stays in Milwaukee.
Really? Even if they keep losing?
He gets more money in Milwaukee. I think he stays.
Let's see if winning is more important than money. Or money more important than winning.
All right. Let's move on to Sunday. We're getting closer and closer to the shot heard around the world. We're getting there. Nuggets Jazz will start off with. This was the Nuggets' chance to even the series. I thought this is the game. This was the must win for the Nuggets. It was so close. Jamal Murray did his best. But in the end, it wasn't enough. I think we'll find out later today, but the Jazz win the series in 5 games, 4-1. This was their chance to win, and they did not pull it off. EJ.
Yeah, Utah, Donovan Mitchell was there. He scored 51, but Jamal Murray scored 50. I mean, that game was amazing. I got these bubble games, and Grant has hit it on the head every single time. These bubble games have been so much better, like with no traveling and like
no pressure
advantage.
There,
I'm like, these games are good, and I just love seeing Donovan Mitchell blow up. But Jamal Murray making all those shots, like that those were cold shots. Like he made like 8 threes in just a full quarter, and then going into overtime. Did they go in overtime in that game?
I don't think so.
No.
Oh, okay. So man, that was a high scoring game then. Because it was 129 to 127. So they was making shots. But that game was fun to watch.
Grant?
Yeah, this was a game where I kept saying if this Nuggets team would just fight back, then they would win. And then they did. In this game, I was like, Jokic actually like kind of took it to Gobert, and Jamal Murray stepped up, and a lot of players on the team, they like looked like they wanted it again. And I was like, oh, this is going to be an awesome series. And then Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson ruined it. They just they took over.
Series is over.
They were making everything. Yeah, I mean 3-1's kind of, I don't know if you can win 3 in a row against a defense like the Jazz have, but gosh, that was just crazy. I was like, I can't believe that the Nuggets are playing inspired, good basketball, and this Jazz team is just beating them offensively.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Moving on. Raptors Nets. This is the sweep. I got nothing to say. Raptors put up 150 points. Nets, thank you for participating in the 2020 NBA bubble. It's nice knowing you. We'll see you in the NBA Championship Finals next year with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. So congrats, buddy, to y'all. Any thoughts on this game?
I have thoughts.
Oh, go ahead.
I texted y'all Sunday night. Monday, was it Monday? I don't know. Anyways, whenever the game was played.
Sunday.
The Raptors had 100 bench points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, some record scratch. 100 bench points. I've never heard of anything like that. You know, from an organizational coaching standpoint, you have to be like more proud of your team than anyone ever has. Like top to bottom, that's just ridiculous. And to think Kawhi said no to that so he could go play with what we're seeing as Paul George. Like,
George Paul?
Is there any way like Kawhi's not sitting there like, God, I had a guaranteed finals championship if I would have just stayed? That team is so good, top to bottom.
Yeah. But Kawhi wanted to go back home, which is, I
guess,
understandable. He just picked the wrong home team. That was the problem. I like this Raptors team, man. Like I said, they were my top 5 team going to the bubble. Nick Nurse is a hell of a coach. And then he got a hell of a team with him.
He does.
Serge Ibaka dropped, Norman Powell. I mean, any of these players can drop 25.
I guess so. This was Ibaka from 2010 OKC. I don't know who this guy is.
Dude, he has been going off every game. He's like such an elite rim protector. He shoots the ball so well.
Can we talk about, though, real quick, Marc Gasol having like a second life in Toronto?
I know. I'm so happy
he
for
put
him,
it in
man.
the grit and grind years over in, Memphis, close second round exit though. but he has just been living it up in Toronto.
Yeah.
The defense.
All right.
It
Yeah,
translates.
defense is nasty, man.
So we're going to move on to the Celtics 76ers. This is the game. Brett Brown is officially fired as the 76ers head coach. And now all I see over Twitter is trade packages, sending Embiid somewhere, sending Ben Simmons somewhere, somehow trying to get shooters in there. Everybody's playing GM for the 76ers.
It's such a fun conversation.
I think Elton Brand needs to go probably too. I think you just need to get rid of everybody in the front office. I like Elton Brand. He got Jimmy Butler. He got Tobias Harris. But Tobias Harris has been shit, and they did move on from Jimmy Butler. So I don't know what you do here. Their depth is weak. The star players that they wanted to do good have not done good outside of Embiid, and obviously Ben Simmons can't stay healthy. So I don't honestly. It's a weird situation. I saw that they're targeting Ty Lue. I was never a Ty Lue believer. I always just thought it's LeBron, coaching the Cavs, not really Ty Lue. So, but I guess he's been working with Doc Rivers, for the last, year, 2 years. So
That's also fair.
Doc Rivers is overrated.
Okay.
And that's fair too.
So I don't know about that, but Boston Celtics sweep the 76ers. I said Boston in 5. Would have thought 76ers could have, or Boston in 6. Thought 76ers could at least get 2, keep it competitive. But after game 1, it was not competitive. Thoughts on this game?
I thought Boston in 5 too. Without Gordon Hayward, I said, well, they're going to drop 1, maybe drop 2. I thought
Maybe
Gordon Hayward was going to do a little, but I didn't think it was going to affect Boston like Ben Simmons affect 76ers. 76ers is just like, I think, the Rockets. Like, they make moves to try to be
relevant
to contend. Yeah, to be relevant. And I think with Ben Simmons hurt, if Ben Simmons was playing, do we think the 76ers would have beat the Celtics? That's the question we are really asking ourselves. I think they needed a new coach anyway.
It would have changed a lot.
Well, to be fair, they would have had somebody to guard at least Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, or Tatum, who's ever hot up, the gate for that game. And the problem is the 76ers guards, watching them, they look lost. They look like they never have played basketball. These are NBA players, and they look like they've – and that could be on Brett. That could be completely – because I love Shake. I think Shake's a beast. He's
awesome offensively. Defensive, he could –
but I think Alec is good too. I love Alec Burks coming off the bench. But it comes down to it. I agree. I think Brett Brown, and I liked Brett Brown prior. Great. I was with you. Last year it's a different narrative. If they win if they win the championship or go to the finals and compete, whatever, then he's still there. But obviously a bounce changes everything.
Yeah, four bounces,
4 bounces.
They came out with a new shoe called 4 bounces for like New Balance just do stuff like that.
Savage.
Yeah, Brett Brown. I said they need a new coach. I don't think he's very accountable, and that was said in the press by, I think, Josh Richardson said he wasn't a very accountable coach. That's why Jimmy Butler left to Miami. But I think 76ers still had the pieces. If they were just healthy, they could have probably beat the Celtics. I don't think they don't really need to change anything. I think where they messed up is they gave Al Horford money.
Yeah.
All
right, but to be fair, Al was playing good for the Celtics. Who thought that he would have dropped off that hard? Nobody.
It happened so fast.
It happened so fast. And they're paying
I think really he just doesn't fit there. I think he could be okay somewhere else.
And they're paying Tobias,
That's what I was going to get into.
Cheeks of money.
Like, everybody wants to blame Brett Brown, but Brett Brown didn't trade for Tobias Harris and pay him $180 million. Brett Brown didn't let Jimmy Butler walk. Brett Brown didn't pay Al Horford the worst contract ever. Like there's so many things in this organization that have happened, and like we want to blame Brett Brown because that's what we see. But like, gosh, there's just been so many things that were just mishandled by the 76ers team.
I agree.
And I really, if they do have Ben Simmons, we're looking at this a lot different.
I think
Oh,
so
yeah,
too.
I think so.
Well, it's just crazy, you know, after game one, because they kept it competitive. They were like, man, look at the spacing. If they didn't, they were like, maybe they should trade Ben Simmons to get shooters. But now the narrative is like, you cannot trade Ben Simmons. You got to keep Ben Simmons. You got to keep him at least for one more year and figure
I was
this
about
out.
to ask y'all, what do y'all think? Do they need to blow it up, trade
No.
Ben Simmons, or
You don't-
Embiid, or you think they can
you
try
don't-
and figure it out?
No, you don't trade two generational type players, but you got to get rid of the contract of Al Horford and Tobias.
Nobody's going to
Yeah.
take that Al Horford contract.
I think
Yeah, that's
I
true,
think
too.
Sacramento will.
No, I hope not.
Dude, I don't think anybody's going to take. It's so bad,
All right.
and the Tobias Harris contract's so bad.
Yeah. 34 and I think 28, both of them respectively.
God.
And then, you know, and then also, you know, Ben Simmons is making 34, 35. And then Joel's what? Making 34. I mean, they have
Bro, how
no
do they have all
room.
this money?
They have no room. Hey, Philadelphia, rich city, brotherly love. All right.
You telling me?
Boys, let's talk about the game of the weekend. And I feel like this is always the game of the weekend, the Clips and the Mavs. I feel like when they match up, it's just awesome basketball. Especially if you're rooting for the Mavs like I am. This kid, Luka Doncic, holy shit. And now everybody's talking. It's like, this is the game. This is what it puts him into the superstar. Everybody needs a game like this. LeBron had a game like this. I think they were like Kobe had a game like this. They kept naming all the, Jordan put up 63 in the Garden or something like that. Like everybody has a game like this. On a bum ankle. The dude, no Kristoff, who's been playing like an MVP power forward. Let me give you 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists at 21 years old. I mean, guys, obviously Giannis is 25. He's going to be turning 26 soon, I think. But I think I don't want any of this Zion talk until he loses 40 pounds. Luka Doncic is the face. The future.
You don't have to say his last name anymore. He's entered Beyonce LeBron territory.
Luka is the face, future face. Once LeBron is done of the NBA, crown him, anoint him, whatever you want to do. The dude is going to be he doesn't just put up stats. The kid wins, which is what's incredible. I could gush. Y'all know how much I love Luka Doncic. I picked the Mavs to win this series. I picked Mavs in 6. It'll probably go 7, whichever team you like. Because Paul George is missing. There's so much to say. There's so many narratives going around with this game alone, which is why I love basketball. I'll go to Grant first. Grant, thoughts on this game?
You really, and I'm always saying we can't overreact to one game or a few games, but this just was different. You're talking like second season in the NBA, first playoff series, one leg
against the title favorites.
Against
Vegas
what
favorites.
We thought,
Vegas
against what we
favorites.
thought was the best defensive team in the NBA, and perfectly designed to stop him.
You have the best defender in the NBA.
I sent y'all that message. I was like, man, I bet the Clippers wish they would have invested a lot of money into two of the best two-way wings.
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
NBA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, they did. And just it's bigger than that. And the shot, and Nick Wright said, like what you were talking about, he was like, just because you have that type of game doesn't mean you're gonna be an all-time great. but all of the all-time greats
Have that type of game.
have that type of moment. It's a prerequisite. And I was like, that's so true. And that's how it felt. Like in the moment I watched it and I was like, the legend is born. Like that's it's on.
Is he top 5?
Nope.
It's so hard. I know it's like you want to live in the moment, but I want to put him in the top 5 so bad.
He's not top 5.
If
He's
there,
awesome.
Hey, if there was a draft tomorrow, would he go number 1?
Is this for one season or
No,
like
this
fantasy
is
draft for the future?
fantasy draft. Just every team's restarting.
I think Giannis would probably go number 1.
You still Giannis would go 1?
Yeah, probably.
EJ.
Giannis would go number 1, but I mean,
It's close. You'd have a hard decision though.
Could you fault somebody for going Luka number 1?
No. If they did, I'd be like, yeah,
No.
go for it.
Thoughts on this game?
Luka wins. A walking stat machine that wins MFing games. That's all you need to know. This is why I said that he's better than James Harden.
But now you're going back on it. After game 1, you're like, all right, James Harden's better than Luka. And then now you're...
No, I said they were even. Anyway, you put Luka on the Rockets, the whole Rockets team changed. And that Rockets team probably sweeps the Thunder. And I'm gonna lay on that till I die. If you give Luka the same team as James Harden and you switch them, the Rockets are a better team, and the Mavericks probably don't even make the playoffs.
Actually, I think if you put James Harden on this Mavs team with Kristoff and with their shooters they have, they could honestly probably win the ship.
That's what I think. I think James Harden. I don't think Luka does anything better than James Harden.
He wins. That's what he does better.
James Harden wins too.
No, he don't.
James Harden does
Yeah,
win.
he does.
There was a tweet, and I think I talked about on the last episode 18, where LeBron James and James Harden are the only 2 players in the NBA that you can consistently say that they will give you 50 wins no matter who you put them, like no matter what roster you put them with. And that is true. James Harden does win. It just he hasn't won consistently enough in the playoffs. He hasn't won. He just hasn't won he hasn't been to the finals. That's it. That's literally it.
Yeah, it's the same thing that LeBron. He had to play the Warriors. That's it. I mean, they just played the best team of all time existed for the last.
Houston would have gone to the finals if the Warriors never added KD.
Yeah, probably.
All right, we're going to continue this conversation because we have more to talk about. Usually we only do 3, but we're going to go for 4 because are you all still good on time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to do 4 videos. All right, we'll be right back. Thank you guys for sticking with us.
Hey guys, take this moment to like and subscribe. And also follow us on the Instagram and Twitter at Curbside Entertainment and at Curbside Network, respectively. You can also find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to X's and O's with Evan and Bros. I'm your most gracious host, Evan. All right, we'll finish up. I know this episode is running a little long, but we just have a lot to talk about. So it was a busy weekend, and we obviously didn't shoot Sunday. So we have, it's been a lot to cover. And so let's finish up on this Luka talk, okay? So series is tied 2-2. Well, all right, no, let's push Luka to the side. What is up with Paul George?
I don't know, man.
Can somebody
I don't know.
right?
If he just wasn't shooting well, it'd be like, okay. He's like missing layups and just like everything about his game is just worse, like bad.
Like,
and I can't explain it.
So what do you think they should do? Like, if they do lose, because this is the guy Kawhi wanted.
I think you just stick it out.
Yeah.
He's not going to play this bad forever.
But this has been a narrative of Paul George. Playoff P has been a joke.
Sometimes.
It shouldn't be sometimes.
When he was last year, when he was with Westbrook, he played amazing. And you were like, if Westbrook would just get out of his way, they might win like this series, and then Westbrook didn't. But and he was okay with the Pacers in the playoffs. He definitely doesn't deserve a playoff P nickname.
No.
He definitely hasn't been that outstanding. But I don't know. I think this is way too small a sample size to take any drastic measures.
You see, I would argue you're right if he had a game where he put up 30, but then the next game he had 11, right? Sometimes you just have an off night. The dude has been off every night. And like Kristoff scoring 30. Where's Paul George getting his 30?
It's that
I know EJ's just loving this, but like
Well,
I like
I
Paul
guarantee tonight Paul George will wake up tonight. I guarantee it.
you guarantee it.
That Paul George will score more than 25 points tonight. That is my hot take. The thing is, look, the Clippers lost these games with a bad Paul George, and they lost the 2 games that they lost by under 8 points average. Like last game was 2 points.
Yeah, but Kristoff hasn't really played in the series.
And that is true too.
And
I mean,
you know, like game one, he was
last week.
Game one, he was wrongfully injected. Game three, or game, which one?
It was game 3. Game 3 he didn't play. Or game 4.
Game four he didn't play. Game 3, Luka was out.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing could be argued that even the Mavs have not been full strength.
Yeah.
And Paul George is still playing 38 minutes.
No,
I think they're going to figure it out. I think they're going to figure it out, and I think if you're going to beat the Clippers, you need to do it now, because I really think the team's going to figure it out, and they're going to be a really tough out. But if you can get them out in the first round, that'll be huge.
Whoever wins, we'll talk about this game real quick. Okay, so let's go on. We'll move on. Yesterday, Lakers, Trailblazers. Lakers demolished the Trailblazers on Kobe Day. This was an ass whooping if I've ever seen it. Yep, Lakers 23. LeBron James, GOAT. Not GOAT, but
GOAT, man.
Second all time. The dude is incredible. You can't say enough about LeBron James. He's willing this Lakers team. The shooters finally figured out how to shoot. They're playing Quinn Cook more, thank God, because he was the laser during the bubble, during the early 8 games. I don't know why he doesn't play more.
Yeah, they only play him when they're up by a ton. It's annoying.
And then he lasers them, and then he makes them. Like,
he always plays good every time.
So I don't know if that's on Frank. Maybe Frank kind of, I don't know. It's LeBron's team. This Pacers team not Pacers. This Trailblazers team is done. They're going to lose in 5. Lakers will win tomorrow, Wednesday.
We owe EJ an apology.
Yeah, I had Trailblazers. I know when I'm wrong. I had Trailblazers win this series. I'm sorry, EJ. And we all shit on the Lakers after game 1, and they came back and punched us in the mouth. Every other person. So
I didn't. I just didn't think they were going to win in 5, and EJ stayed true.
Well, he's a Lakers fan.
5 should have been at 4. Let me tell you, in game 1, the Lakers in game 1, 2, 3, and 4, Lakers missed like 1,000 free throws. If the Lakers just make their free throws, this should have been a sweat. Like, even Portland played way better than the Lakers in game 1. Lakers had every opportunity to win that game if they made their free throw, and they didn't make shots in game 1, and they had a chance to win that game. Now, when Lakers making shots, and Grant hit on this in game 3, Lakers are probably one of the toughest teams to beat, if not the toughest team to beat. This Lakers team is finally coming into mode where they are exerting their dominance. They are built different, what LeBron says. And now LeBron has this staple where he's social justice plus playing basketball, and Donovan Mitchell is too. I think these basketball players are taking this game to a meaningful, I just want the ring, into I'm playing for my people. And that is what LeBron is doing, Donovan is doing, that they're not playing for the ring now. They're playing for their people. And the ring is just a prize. So this, and AD, I mean, the man is a magician. I mean, he is a beast in best power forward in the game. Point blank, period. Top 5 player in the NBA.
Anthony Davis won the game last night in 18 minutes.
Yeah. And
18, 5, and 5 in 18
points?
minutes. In 18 minutes. Like, he came in, and it was in the first half, and he played, and they could not get a shot up. The Trailblazers could not get a shot up because he was blocking everything. And then they would go down there, and Anthony Davis would be like, you want a three? You want a mid-range? You want me to beat you in the post? What do you want? I'm serving him up. And, like, it was like that was amazing. He won the game in the first half, and then he didn't play in the second half. But and not to mention LeBron was just showed off the full arsenal of the greatest player of all time in year 17. Just passing.
I mean, come on.
The jelly. He's part of the jelly club. He doesn't just tomahawk it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah. And one thing that's weird to me is it seems like all of the title favorites are kind of like, you're like, especially the Clippers, and the Bucks lost to the Magic, and they're not dominating like everybody thought they would. And the Lakers in their place have just stepped up. And it's like, that should be everyone's title favorite, right? But it's not. And
listen, I think the nice thing is, without the Golden State Warriors having, 4 Hall of Famers, everybody has a chance right now. I love this whole system of duos in the league because it gives everybody more of a chance. And it's just fun basketball. All right, we'll move on. Heat closed it out 4-0 against the Pacers. Pacers try to put up a good fight. I think you'll see the Pacers make some major offseason moves this coming up. I think probably the only one safe is Brogdon, Sabonis, and
I don't even know
Warren.
if they're safe.
I mean, they could not be. There's a chance they might not be. It depends what you can get. Either picks or maybe take on some bad contracts and tank a year. I don't know.
Maybe they could get Embiid or Simmons.
You know my Simmons pick. You know my trade for Simmons. But I feel bad for the Pacers, but Heat swept them. Heat swept 4-0. What do you guys think?
I had been begging Miles Turner to come inside the 3-point line like the entire series, and basically his entire career. I've been begging Miles Turner to go down low. On defense, he's so good down low, and I feel like he actually does well when he posts up. He just sits in the corner the whole time, and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
And the whole series, I was like, you're killing them. And then in game 4, he finally does it, and he balled out. He was playing with Bam, and they were going back and forth, and the Heat still beat them, and it didn't really feel like the Heat were going to lose at any point. And that's when I was like, this team is for real. It doesn't matter what you do. They're just loaded, and they check all the boxes.
EJ?
Very confident team. The Heat just have dogs. And, I mean, and it is led by Jimmy Butler. And I mean, the coach, Eric Spoelstra, has always been a good coach. And he just has a plan. And Pat Riley is a great owner, a president.
Yeah.
And he created that team. And what if they had Chris Paul? Because remember, they were trying to get Chris Paul.
They were trying to get Chris Paul. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if it would have messed up this chemistry. I like what they have. Hero, Duncan know their roles. Bam knows his role. He's a big man that can pass it as well. Nobody really talks about it, but he averages 15, 8, and 5. I think he's the first player to do that, youngest player to do that at least. Another
thing, Andre Iguodala has played every fourth quarter minute this series. Every fourth quarter minute. But that's huge.
This team's built, I think they like each other. They love playing with each other. I think Jimmy is one of the most unselfish players in the league. Even though he's a superstar, you think he's selfish?
Well, all right. For a long time, I was like, I think Jimmy Butler puts on the persona of a good leader, but when things start going bad,
he starts blaming.
But now I'm starting to think maybe Jimmy Butler in environments that make you able to be soft just don't intertwined. Jimmy Butler needs to be like a boot camp. Like, I'm going to like cuss you out if you miss your assignment, and you can cuss me out too.
Yeah.
That's the environment he needs to be in. And he's just perfect for the team.
All right. Rockets Thunder. This game was going back and forth to the end. They really won 117 to 111. There was a last second heave at the end that was very impressive. Got them up to 14. The series is tied 2-2. It will probably go 7 the way these teams have been. Sometimes the Thunder look like they know exactly what they need to do in the possession with their triple point guard attack, where they just attack the basket. And then for some reason they go away from that. I think Gallinari, yes, he's a defensive liability, but he's played very well in this series. He's been hitting around 20 points consistently, which is huge. Nice stretch 4. I tell you what, Gallinari would look good in a Houston's uniform. It would give him some size, a little stretch 5 action. Can't play a lick of defense, but he'll give you about 10 shots from the 3-point line.
The Rockets aren't interested in playing defense anymore.
Hell yeah! If you shoot a 57, I'm going to give you at least 5 from the 3-point line. You 57 a tip.
Hey, you would think that I'll shut up. But it just blows my mind. They're shooting so bad from the 3-point line. It's unreal. EJ, thoughts on this game?
Good game. Great game.
Great game.
Chris Paul said he need to play better. And what he did, he brought himself in the whole team.
Hey, Harden looks so tired. Can I just say,
yeah.
Harden looks...
It happens every postseason.
He looks so tired. I was watching. He hit the deck. I felt like he hit the deck like 10 times in the fourth quarter. Same for Damian. Damian looks really tired.
Injured.
Yeah, he might not play game 5, actually.
Yeah, the series is over. But
Look, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
Keep going, EJ.
What was I about to say? Yeah, and the thing is, why James Harden tired? They attack James Harden because they know you got to attack players.
No. And Grant tweeted it yesterday. James Harden stole a couple balls out of Chris Paul's cookie jar the other day.
Oh,
it is not on James Harden. His defense is actually.
James Harden he's been playing good defense this series, and I've been watching.
It is not on James Harden, but to make a star player tired is you have to attack him.
You do. They are attacking him, and so
everything they are attacking with the 3-headed point guard, shooting guard combo that they got. They're driving, and then Rockets don't have a center. It's going to come down. Like you need a center at least to win a championship, in my opinion.
I mean, look at the Lakers. They play AD. They play JaVale. They play Dwight Howard. I mean, they have three guys who are really good rim protectors. And, JaVale plays like what? It feels like 10 minutes. I feel like he starts the game. He then never shows up in the rest of the game. But he plays really good the first 10 minutes. It doesn't make any sense. And then Dwight Howard gets 5 fouls. I saw a tweet. It's like Dwight Howard could punch somebody. He'd still be like, why the rest, would call a foul. He's like, why are you, calling it?
Dwight Howard has not played a game this season where he hasn't been in foul trouble.
Yeah.
I swear. But the Thunder, this guard play is, EJ made 2 good points. And I was like, the Rockets are missing that, like, rim protector, which is weird because you're like, they're down there. It's just like, and the Thunder are beating them kind of with shooting, but not being able to have somebody because Dennis Schroeder, Shea, and Chris Paul all attack.
They attack. And
they have gotten so good at that. Dennis Schroeder has gotten so good at that. He's just a really good player. And then what I was thinking about was when he said James Harden, like them attacking him, because he normally, like all season, you're like, how does this dude not get tired? Every single offensive possession, it's all him. And you're like, well, probably because he takes breaks on defense. And when he turns it on, he's a good defender. And now it's the playoffs, and he's had to turn it on every defensive possession.
Well, especially because Russell Westbrook is out.
Yeah, and they're attacking him on defense, and then he has to handle everything on offense. You're like, this dude's going to, pass out on the court, him and PJ Tucker.
He will never leave Houston. I think he will retire a Houston Rocket. And Daryl Morey will. I think he's hell-bent on getting James Harden a championship. but he needs help. He needs, and Russell Westbrook's obviously not playing. Russell's got to come back. He's got to take at least some of the ball handling away from James Harden so he can rest. Because it's tiring dribbling up the court every damn time and try to make something happen, whether that's driving to the lane. I mean, there was one, and I think it did seal the game. I don't know if y'all remember. It was like with 2 minutes left around. James drove to the lane. It was open. He kicked it out to PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker bricked it. You know what I'm talking about? It was like with 2 minutes left. I think
PJ Tucker bricking corner threes.
I think it was a 3-point game. It would have tied it. I think it was still 111 to 114. And then
it was something like that.
Yeah, and then he bricked it, and then OKC got the ball back, and they had a foul and stuff like that.
Westbrook will help with rebounding too. He's an underrated rebounder, especially for the Rockets because they don't have that many good rebounders.
Yeah, so I think they need to get Russell back. I think Russell, I don't know what his deal is. He looks healthy on the sideline. He's been vocal on the sideline. It's been nice to see that. But they need him back because James Harden looks so tired and so defeated, and they got to help him out. They really do. Let's move on. Bucks, Magic. Bucks up 3-1. This series is over. Magic did their best. Bucks will win in 5. Probably should have won, should have swept, but they looked dysfunctional. They looked lost in game 1. Again, Vucevic, played out of his freaking mind. And Vucevic is still playing out of his mind. He needs to get out of Orlando.
He's a really good player.
They need to, yeah. I mean, maybe Boston makes a move for Vucevic, throw him up in the Celtics jersey. He'll look kind of clean there. I don't know what you could give up for him or what the contracts would do. But
you'd have to give up a contract like Kemba.
You'd have Marcus Smart or something like that.
Throw him Gordon Hayward.
Maybe Gordon Hayward, Marcus Smart for Vucevic. Maybe Robert Williams.
I think the Magic aren't in tank mode, though. I think they want to win, even though they should be.
And they're riddled with injuries. They're not going to move from Vucevic. But I got nothing else to say about this game. What do you guys think?
I think they just signed him to a new deal last year, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So he came from USC, by the way.
Is he a Trojan? He's a Trojan?
He is a Trojan.
I didn't know that.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, I had no idea.
So
wow.
Trojan got some okay players, DeMar DeRozan. I mean, I don't know about Todd Gibson, but he's a Trojan as well. But Milwaukee Bucks play how they should have played, should have swept this team because with no Jonathan Isaac and then I think Aaron Gordon has been
Gordon's out. Yep. Yeah,
I mean, Milwaukee should have been having their way, and they need to be watching film on the Miami Heat because that series is about to be a great series. So
it will be.
I think it's over too in 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Grant?
Yeah, the Bucks team just showed Giannis is going to be dominant, and the Bucks have this awesome luxury of if somebody's not shooting well, like you got Wesley Matthews, Chris Middleton, Kyle Korver, Dante DiVincenzo. It's endless. The list goes on and on and on. And if somebody's playing bad, you can just sub in somebody that's the exact same thing as them.
Yeah.
And like somebody's bound to shoot well to help them out. And that's just a huge luxury that they're so deep.
Yeah, let's move on to today's games and we'll complete this episode. All right. So we got Jazz Nuggets. Again, Jazz are up 3-1. 6:30 tonight on TNT. Y'all, I think it's the Jazz finish it off. I really do. I think last night was the chance. Well, not Sunday night was the chance for the Nuggets to get that win to tie it up. And if Jamal Murray puts up 50 and they don't win, they're not going to win the game. I'm going Jazz. Jazz finished out in 5.
I don't know, man. It depends how Donovan plays, right?
Always
Donovan's motivated, right? Because that's who's carrying them. And Jordan Clarkson, he's very streaky, but he's playing pretty good.
But Conley's been huge because it's added that extra ball handler, so Donovan doesn't have to bring it up the court every time. And
that is true too. And then Mike Conley has this Fred VanVleet little thing with his baby being born, so maybe he's also motivated because of that. So I want to go Utah, I'm actually going Denver here.
Ooh. So they tie. So they don't tie. It's 3-2. Does Denver win the series, or does Jazz get in 6?
Jazz going to get in 6.
Okay.
I think Denver's not going to fall on this one.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Grant.
I'm not giving the Jazz it so easily. I think the Nuggets win tonight because of the fight they showed last game. I think it works out. I don't think Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson shoot like that every game. I think they win this one.
I've been saying that, but Jordan Clarkson proves me wrong every freaking time.
I don't trust him. I have PTSD. But yeah, I think the Nuggets win tonight, and then the next 2 games, like if they can somehow find a way to win Game 6, then one game anybody can do anything. So I'm not giving up on the Nuggets just yet.
Now I'm going to say this. It being in a bubble really makes me want to pick the Jazz because there's no home court advantage, and this Game 5 would have been in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably would have won it if there was if it was really in Denver. But with this being the bubble, it makes it tough to pick teams here.
But that's fun.
That's for like every series you can think about that.
Yeah.
And that would like the home and home would change so much about these playoffs.
It would. They wouldn't be it almost would be night and day. All right. Last game. Last thing we're going to talk about tonight. 9 p.m. We got Mavs Clips. Game 5. Series tie 2-2. I'll go because I picked the Mavs to win the series. And is it known that if Porzingis is playing yet? He's DTD. He's DTD.
How do you not play?
Well, he has to. He has to play. He has to play. He has to play. Right?
He didn't play in the last game.
Luka
Luka
probably told him, "Hey, I got you, bro." But he dressed. He was dressed. He was dressed. So
because they almost put him in at the end of the game.
Yeah. I'm going Mavs tonight. I know y'all probably disagree. I think you're going Clippers tonight, but I think Paul George is still missing in action. And I think the narrative for Paul George, it gets sadder and sadder. I feel bad. I really do feel bad for him. But I am going Mavs tonight to win Game 5. Grant.
I think the Clippers win tonight and Game 6. And I don't want that to happen, but I just think this Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway, Seth Curry magic is going to fall away at some point. Not to say that they're going to play bad. It's just it's the water's going to settle. They're like an anomaly right now. So I think they're going to come back down to earth, and I think the Clippers win it.
EJ.
I think I agree with Grant that. I guess it depends if Unicorn plays.
Yeah.
But
that is big.
If Unicorn doesn't play today, then Clippers going to win. I think Paul George will go back to regular Paul George. Like I said, I guarantee Paul George. And with me saying guarantee Paul George with 25 points, I got the Clippers winning tonight, regardless if my Unicorn plays. But it will go to 7.
It will go to 7, though.
7.
So Mavs win Game 6. Clippers win Game 7?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, that is today's episode of X's and O's with Evan and Bros. I appreciate y'all for being with us. It was a fun episode.
Whoa.
What, bro?
What? I thought we were going to somehow do some second round.
This series isn't. They're not over yet. They're not over yet. We'll do it when it's all over.
Grant over said the Raptors.
But they're not. It's not.
Raptors over here.
All right, who you got? You got Bucks or you got Heat?
You said it like you wanted to have it. Now you're not ready.
I got the Bucks.
You got the Bucks. Okay, who you got? You got Bucks. You got Toronto or you got Celtics?
Here, this is a good one.
Okay.
I'm going with.
I want to give you more time to debate, to think about it.
No, I'm good. I'm going with Boston.
Going Boston. Boston
I don't see
what?
that at all.
So you got.
I really don't see that at all.
You got Bucks in 6, and you got Boston in what? 6, 7?
Yeah, we'll have to go to 7.
Yeah, we're flipped. I've got the Heat in 7 and the Raptors and what did I say, 5?
Yeah, you're pretty convinced that the Raptors are going to the NBA Finals.
Raptors are gonna smack the Celtics. That doesn't worry me at all.
I mean, I won't be surprised. I won't mind either, but I don't want the Raptors to play the Lakers. Raptors got the best matchup for the Lakers.
If
any
the Celtics,
NBA team.
Yeah, if the Celtics find a way to beat the Raptors, I'm saying Jason Tatum plays out of his mind.
He has to go for
that,
40.
That could happen. That could happen.
It could.
So,
all right. That'll be episode 19 of X and O's, the Evan and Bros. Thank you to EJ. Thank you for Grant for being here. Let's go home. Good work, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Go Lake Show. Lakers in 5, baby.
Lakers, I agree. Lakers in 5. Peace.